guys, today back from a video on the channel. Today we're here for the Newcastle United versus Crystal Palace preview. We need a win. We have to win this game no matter what. If we get beat, it's done. Steve Bruce has to go no matter what. If we lose this game, Bruce has to get sacked on the Saturday on the day, right? We play Friday again, like what they did against Southampton, and we're the first game of the match week, which is never good. It's never good. You've got to set high expectations. We've got versus Crystal Palace, a decent side, but Steve Bruce waves his magic wand again for luck, as a key player has got coronavirus for Crystal Palace. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, lads. Today's preview is an insane game going into the match week. Let's see if we can do anything. Let's start off by looking at Crystal Palace in the preview. Let's get in the video now, and yeah, Crystal Palace. So Palace, as I said in the intro, a key player for them has got coronavirus, and that is Wilfried Zaha. How lucky are we? How lucky Steve Bruce? But that just puts more pressure on Steve Bruce, in my opinion, because if we can't beat Wilfried Zaha of FC, we're going to get nowhere. We're going to get sacked, no matter what. If he's got his best team out or not, if Wilton plays, or Fraser plays, or whatever, right? If the players don't play, if he loses this game, he's got to go. Has to go. Has to get sacked on the spot, right? Crystal Palace, though, Wilfried Zaha's got coronavirus. That's massive for us. That's massive because he's their best player. He always has and always will be, and he's a fantastic player. And it just adds, for me, just adds more pressure on Steve Bruce, because now if we lose, we look even more shit. Even more shit. So, for me, we've got to win. We have to win. Because, yeah, it's away from home and whatnot, but I think we've got to win this game no matter what. When you look at Crystal Palace this season, we'll look at their last couple of Premier League games now. So they got a 2-1 win over Fulham, who played very well in that game, Wilfried Zaha. Then got beat 2-0 against Wolves, a really tough game, and they got a red card. 4-1 win versus Leeds, who played well that game, Wilfried Zaha. And the game that Wilfried Zaha doesn't play in is a 1-0 defeat against Burnley. And that's Burnley's first goal at home, first win of the season, and Crystal Palace got beat to them. So when you look at Crystal Palace, they've won, lost in their last couple of games, so they're doing okay at the minute. Crystal Palace sit mid-table in 11th in the Premier League as well, with 4 wins, but then 1 draw and 4 defeats, which it's okay being 11th in the Premier League with 13 points, I think it is. It's not bad, it really isn't. They've done well, right? And especially with not having Zaha now, it's actually going to make them better. Whether it's going to make them worse, or they're going to roughly stay where they are. It's going to be hard for Palace, it really is. Obviously, they signed Michy Batshuayi from Chelsea on loan for the season, but I generally don't know who will play over Zaha. Is it Max Meyer? I'm not actually quite sure who actually will play ahead of Wilfried Zaha, because he's the main talking point about this game. He's got coronavirus, so he can't play. It's massive for the football club. It's massive for Newcastle United that he's got the virus, where we're going to have to, we're using the negative as a positive. Obviously, we don't want coronavirus to be a thing, but him having it, and obviously as a self-isolate for 14 days, we're using that to our ability to try and do something. Right then, Newcastle United now. It's a must-win. It's a must-win game, right? The last 3 performances have been shite. Was it 2 or 3? I'm not quite sure. Anyways, we've been shite recently. 15th in the Premier League. It's not good enough, right? For the summer we had, right? I understand Wilton was injured for Chelsea and whatnot, but the performances this season have been awful. I don't understand how, don't understand why. Why does Bruce, right, go from a 4-back versus Everton, I'm almost certain, to their 5-back against Southampton being shit playing a 5-back? Why? I'm not sure, I might have been playing a 5-back against Everton, but when you look at how we've played in the last couple of games, it's been awful. It's been shocking. There's a video on Twitter when Newcastle United are going to throw in, right, about a couple of meters away from the goal, from the goal that we've got to score in. Throw in to Longstaff, back to Clark, back to Darlow. Steve Bruce needs to do something about that. Steve Bruce, that's him telling them to do that. No fucking player in their mind has a chance to really get a goal, but instead they play it back to the goalkeeper. He needs to go. And Bruce out, I always have and always will be. And someone DM'd us on Insta being like, oh, when we won, you were sticking up for Steve Bruce saying that he's class and whatnot. I don't, right? When we win games, it's not by a team performance, it's by one player. It's normally Wilton or Maxi, one of them, right? They're the standout player. It's not Steve Bruce tactically winning the game. It's a player shining out with their talent on winning the game. It's not Steve Bruce, it's a player, right? And that's why Newcastle United will never get anywhere. Because we're relying on players and not a team. And that's what is the hard thing to take. Because we want to push for top 10 under Rafa Benitez, right? Yeah, we got 30 under Bruce last season, right? But how many games could you say we played amazing and unreal? Not many. Not many whatsoever. Very scrappy games last season and whatnot. It's going to be tough. It is going to be tough against Crystal Palace. Oh, it is a hard one. With Zaha having COVID, it's going to be tricky to predict. I'm going to go for 1-1. If we don't win the game, Bruce has to go. Bruce has to go. Arguably, without Zaha at Crystal Palace got one of the worst teams in the Premier League. Either they won't sit it because they've had Zaha all season, but they just got beat to Burnley. Burnley haven't won a game this season. It's a must win. They'll be the predicted team out tomorrow, lads, so wait and see for that. Obviously, I want to say a four back. It's the only thing I'm going to say. And obviously, I'll know about Wilton, Fraser and Shelby and whatnot to see if they're fit for the game. Lads, that's the end of the video. I want to say now, obviously, ignore the trim. Lockdown. We're getting a trim soon, boys. It's not going to take long. Obviously, it's horrible, so that's why I thought I'd say, because it's absolutely horrendous. Anyway, lads, I'll see you all in the next video, which will be the predicted game tomorrow. Let's just hope we can do something. How are the lads?